We all rely on farmers and ranchers, but farming is riskier than other businesses out there. Crop insurance helps farmers manage their risk. With crop insurance, farmers put skin in the game by paying premiums and shouldering deductibles. That keeps taxpayers from having to pick up the whole bill every time disaster strikes. Today, about 90% of U.S. farmland is insured, providing $100 billion in protection to more than 130 different kinds of crops. It's a testament to the program's success.
Thanks for joining us for this week's Washington Week in Review. I'm Ben Nuelle, joined with Phil Brasher on Capitol Hill, giving you the news. Big news throughout the week. Obviously here in D.C., the president has been acquitted by the Senate, but obviously the biggest news of the week on the trade front is what's happening in China as we look at, they're looking to lower tariffs, but also the coronavirus kind of taking over there. But let's start in Washington here, Phil. What does a post-impeachment Congress look like here as we move through 2020?
Well, let's remember the other big event of the week, and that was the Iowa caucuses. I think there were caucuses in Iowa.
I think so, and it sounds like they've got most of the precincts reporting, but obviously folks a little bit frustrated there, wondering what happened.
Well, the reason I bring that up is because that really kicks off the presidential primary season, and that means that all the attention, or most of the attention in Washington, is going to be focused outside of D.C., and it's going to limit what actually gets done here. They do have to start working on appropriations for the fiscal 2021, which starts in October. The president's budget is due out next week. So that's, there'll be a lot of work on that. There's going to be a limited amount of what Congress can do on other things, just politically speaking.
And yeah, don't forget it's an election year, so I mean, you kind of got to wonder what can exactly get done there. But we're watching this news out of China that says they're looking to reduce tariffs on goods such as apples and oranges, soybeans, just to name a few. That story later at Agri-Pulse.com. But we're watching here what kind of happens with this coronavirus and how that's impacting U.S. ag exports as we've just recently signed that phase 1 trade deal with China. So, I mean, Phil, what are we looking at here as far as what you're seeing watching this story?
Well, I think the interesting thing is Secretary of Agriculture Sonny Perdue said at the cattle industry's annual convention down in San Antonio that they're watching this. They are understanding, pointing out that there is a provision in this phase 1 trade agreement to provide some flexibility in the case of a disaster like this. And bottom line, what he said was that the Trump administration would be understanding, but they're going to be watching China to make sure that they're not using this as an excuse to not move forward with the purchases that they've pledged to do.
And also here in D.C., USDA's Economic Research Service did release a report on net farm income, looking at that as well as net cash farm income. And the big story there, though, is they accounted for not having market facilitation program payments this year. What does that do? I've talked to a few economists outside USDA, and they're saying that they're wondering if that's going to leave a pretty big hole as far as folks go financially when you look at this.
Right. It's basically the number is $8.7 billion. The government payments will drop to farmers in 2020 if there is no 2020 MFP. Now, obviously, if China follows through with these purchases, if there is an uptick in commodity prices as a result of that, then farmers are going to get their income from the market. And obviously that's what they would prefer. But here you've got this hole, and the USDA has identified how much it is, and we'll see. The Secretary Perdue has continually said that they don't think another one is needed, and farmers should not count on it. But we come back to this being an election year, and so we'll see what happens.
And also, I know economists that I've talked to outside saying it is the first report of the year, so we do want to make sure as we go through the year, they say it could be updated later. But for the latest news out of Washington, visit agripulse.com. For Phil Brasher, I'm Ben Nuelle, and thanks for watching.